Every summer of my childhood, my parents took us on epic road trips across America. They'd save up vacation days and we'd drive west from our home in Nova Scotia, exploring destinations like Texas, the Pacific Northwest, Alaska twice, and California. The last trip we ever took was to Los Angeles. While crossing the barren stretches of Nevada, my dad pulled off the highway into a rest stop for a break. The rest stop was eerily empty. As we crossed the newly paved parking area, the sound of tires on asphalt spread across the flat landscape, which awed me with its expansiveness. The mountains in the distance looked like paper cutouts, almost unreal against the endless sky. We parked near a small strip of grass with a chained picnic table. The car's air-conditioned interior was cool, but as soon as we opened the doors, the outside heat hit us like a wave of cosmic gelatin. Mum started unpacking food while Dad stretched. After Mum fixed our meal, sandwiches, Coke, and a few hard-boiled eggs, we sat at the table and began eating. A few cars passed by on the highway. As Dad smoked a cigarette, one of the passing cars pulled into the rest stop. We watched as it circled the parking area several times before stopping in the middle of the lot, facing us. The driver was the only person inside. Despite the car's ordinary appearance, its presence disturbed our solitude. The driver kept the engine running. "What do you think he's doing?" Mom asked Dad. "I don't know," Dad replied. "Eat your food," Mom told me, though she had stopped eating herself, and Dad was merely holding his cigarette, the end burning down to ash. The driver reached into the glove compartment and pulled out a dark box, placing it on the dashboard. "What's that he's got?" Mum asked. Dad didn't respond. Instead, he said, "Gather up our stuff and get in the car." The driver opened the box. "Oh, God," Mum said. "Is it drugs? Is he going to inject himself?" The driver took something out of the box. "He's got a gun," Dad said. Mum quickly wrapped everything in the tablecloth and shoved it into the car's trunk. "Get in the car," she said, her voice breaking. Dad stomped out his cigarette and stood up. "Don't look at him," he said. Mum pulled me into the car and Dad tossed her the keys. "Start the engine," he instructed, but the car wouldn't start. "I think he's going to kill himself," Dad said. For the first time in my life, I felt my nerves squirm with fear. It was unbearably hot. Mum was panicking. Dad walked toward the other car. "Where are you going?" Mum yelled, but he ignored her. I watched in fear as he approached the driver's window. Dad knocked on the glass. The driver lowered the window. They exchanged words, then Dad looked at us, his eyes sinking into a depth of despair. He opened the car door and got in beside the driver. Mum, still trying to start the car, repeated, "What's he doing? What the hell is he doing?" In the back seat of the other car, a third figure appeared. It hadn't been there before. Its eyes shone crimson, and its arms, ending in long talons, reached around the front seats, grabbing both Dad and the driver's heads, pushing them together. Dad's body seemed to subsume the driver's. Oh God, Mum screamed. Where there had been two people, now there was only Dad, reaching into the box on the dash, pulling out the gun. He got out and began walking towards us, his face a contortion of emotions. His movements were jerky, like a glitch in a video game. He took a few steps forward, then wrenched himself sideways, fell, got back up. His arm holding the gun pointed it at us. The other arm grabbed it. The two arms wrestled, but the gun didn't drop. Mum finally got the engine started. Dad fired. The bullet hit the car, but not us. He reset his aim, pointing the gun at me. My own father was about to kill me. I couldn't believe it, even as I prepared for death. Suddenly, Dad's face twisted in pain. He lifted the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. Bang! Mom pressed the accelerator and we sped away, leaving Dad's crumpled body behind. We drove in stunned silence, our cries subsiding into whimpers. The lack of Dad's presence was monumental, the distant mountains disappeared, and all I could see was endless desert. At the nearest town, we reported the incident to the police. They concluded that Dad had committed suicide. Though Mom and I both knew the truth, we never spoke about it again. But I had to share this story to give permanence to a moment that defied understanding, a touch of permanence in an ever-passing world.